In this video, I'm going to show you how to share a quad with two FrSky ACCESS radios. Here we've got the Sailfly X, and I've got a RX4R receiver in here. I've got the latest version of ACCESS flashed onto the receiver, as well as both radios. So let's power up the quad. And I've got this quad registered to the Lite Pro here, but it's not currently bound. So you can see that when I try to arm it, nothing happens. But because it is registered, I can just bind at any time without pressing the bind button. So all you need to do is go into the menu here and go into bind mode, power off, and power back on, and you'll reacquire the bind. You don't need to press the button again, and you can always reclaim it from any other radio. So now we've got the bind back, and let's see if it arms. All right, good to go. Now let's take the X9 Lite and let's share the bind with the X9 Lite. Now this one is not pre-bound, and this is a brand new model, and all we need to do is go into bind mode. Then in the Lite Pro, we go into the bind menu and choose the share option. And once we do that, then the receiver should show up on the X9 Lite, and you can choose that and you're bound. Now we can control it with the X9 Lite. Didn't even need to press the bind button. Now, the Lite Pro can no longer control the quad, but it's still registered. So because of that, I can always reclaim the bind just by going into bind mode and power cycling the quad. That way, if you share the bind with a friend and they walk off with the bind, you can always take it back. So this is pretty neat. If you've got a lot of radios and you want to just trade off radios, you can always register your quad to every radio, and then you can just bind anytime without pressing the bind button. Or if you want to share your quad with other pilots at a race, you can share the bind with them, and you can always take it back from them. Now, if the bind was shared with you, you are not registered, and you can't share the bind with anybody else. Nor can you take the bind anytime you want on a power cycle. So that's pretty much the difference between a registered radio and a shared radio. Anyway, I hope you found this helpful. Please subscribe and drop a like. Thank you. Bye.